Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be discussing reaction times and how to properly record them. So what are reaction times? Reaction time in its simplest form is how long it takes for a human, in this example, to react to something happening. To basically if they perceive something, how long it takes for them to act upon it. In this case, we're going to be seeing how we're going to be measuring how long it takes for for someone to block an attack and or dodge. And I'm going to ignore that notification on my phone. So it's actually very simple. So first we're going to, in its easiest way, we're going to set the conqueror to uh, to do an infinite light spam, and then we're going to, as I'm recording this, well, kind of, as I'm recording this, I'm going to simply, uh, I'm going to measure how long it takes for my guard to begin to switch to block the attacks, and that will measure my reaction time. So what we're going to do is we're going to say move cooldown off, and then we're going to, uh, how do I get him to do the infinite light? Should be a way to do that. Well, infinite light doesn't necessarily have to be it, but so then what we're going to do is we're going to set him to revenge mode. So arena settings, opponent revenge, always active. And this case, we should be able to actually. Okay, after blocking so many attacks from different directions. Oh, I messed that up. Okay, that seems to be good enough, and I think we've actually got a good sample. So now that I've actually done that, I can actually hotkey to tell what basically get a extra recording of what I just did. So now I'm going to be showing you how to actually tell what my reaction time was. So what you need to do is you need to have a video editor. And I actually have one recommended for this. You can either use, what I recommend is DaVinci Resolve as it is free, but if you happen to have something like Sony Vegas or another video editing program that can go frame by frame, then that will work as well. So let's actually, as soon as I can load up DaVinci Resolve, that'd be great. Again, it's called DaVinci Resolve, and then there's a public beta you can get. So it's basically it's 100% free. You don't have to pay for anything, and it's actually a very good video editor in general. So if you plan on starting some channel or something, it's not bad. So let's get into it. And I need to switch to desktop. So after I open an untitled project, I should be able to switch to desktop. There we go. And that's decent. Okay, so here's what we have. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag the video that I just recorded into this. And it will automatically change the frame rate of the timeline. And I'm going to mute the audio. And we are going to go back and see how fast I can react at a random point in the video. So let's see. The attack starts at this frame. And we are going to see at what point do I actually input a guard change. That would be about right here. So we have a proper measurement of what happened, and I zoomed in way too far there. So at the 53rd frame of the 43rd second and 34th frame. So what was it? 34, 53. So 19 frames. So then what we do is it's actually pretty simple. Since this video is in 60 FPS, and so is the timeline, we can do 19 divided by 60. And we should get, I reacted around 300 milliseconds. Okay, maybe I can see a better reaction time there. And there's the video editing software glitching out. So as we can see, the attack starts right here, and I change my guard right here. So then we have the 58th frame minus the 40. So 18 frames. Okay. 18 divided by 60. You get the picture. I have a reaction time of about 300 milliseconds. Not that big of a deal. Sometimes I can get a bigger one. It depends. And so that basically goes to show you what my reaction time is. However, that is not the full story because there's actually a separate story to that. And what I'm going to show you is there's actually a, if I can unlock my phone, what you need to do is you also need to record what is called input lag. So I just disconnected my phone from my computer. And what you need to do is you need to actually record an input for how long it takes to do something. So if I switch back into For Honor really quickly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go into Advanced Controls and key mapping, that's what it is. I'm going to go to Combat. And I'm going to say for guard up, I want it to be number lock. And so what this will do is whenever I press numlock, my guard will switch to the top, but it will also have an effect of starting a light on my keyboard. And I also have to unplug my keyboard because it is glitched out on my computer. Different story. So now I have a indication locally of when I press a button and when it happens on screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to record how long it takes for the light to appear on my numlock before it actually reappears as a guard stance on For Honor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to record this on my phone using a 240 FPS camera app called High Speed Camera app on Android, Google Play Store, recommended. So if I press record and then I do that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually switch over and editing and show you what exactly happened. Okay, now with the power of video editing that can be done natively on the app, my app by default shot the video at 240 FPS. Now, that is precisely 6 times as many frames as 60. No, that is precisely 4 times as much FPS as 60 FPS. So what I can do is if I slow by the app, my video editing software can only go up to 60 FPS. Go figure. So what I do is I slow by the app that you can natively slow down videos. I slowed it down 25%, which is, go figure, 1/4. So if I drag the video over into my computer very quickly, if I just drag it over here, and here you can actually see the video I recorded and the time it took. So then what I can do is I drag this over here into my media bin. So we have a basic time of 300 milliseconds, but we must also record how long it takes for an input that I have to reach my computer, and then therefore my display. So using this, we can see uh, more or less my true reaction time without this how slow my computer and other components made it seem. So I could actually have a reaction time of 200 milliseconds or 250, but there was 50 milliseconds of input lag. So because it takes time for however long it takes for me to press a button to reach all the way to the computer, it being processed, and then reach my display for the purposes of recording. So what I can do is I can go forward in this video however long it took for me to press numlock. And here we can see this is the starting frame, the 9th frame of the 5th second. And then we must see right here, as you can see, there's a small shadow up here. That means it finally reached the display. So we can count this as the first frame of the point at which it took place. So we have the 9th frame and the 10th frame, or the 19th frame. So what this means is it took precisely 10 frames of 240 FPS to reach my monitor. So what does this mean? So well, it took precisely let's say, what's 10 divided by 240? So let's just ask Bing right here. And that is 41 milliseconds. So I have an input lag of 41 milliseconds. Could be worse, considering a lot of variables, but that's just how it is. But I have a reaction time of 300 milliseconds, or do I? So if we take my recorded reaction time and subtract my input lag, I get my true reaction time of 259 milliseconds in that instance. So if you ever feel like you reacted to something very fast and you think you reacted pretty quickly, well, this could be a variable. Input lag often is the plague of For Honor, in which console users often have the worst end, in which case they often have much worse displays. Their controllers are third party. They choose to use wireless, though that isn't as much of a variable as it used to be on the 360, which if you are using the 360, I apologize greatly because that must suck. And then you end up having a greater input lag, in which case this first number, where I got 300, you could end up with upwards of 500, 600, something like that, and your input lag, which is the number I subtracted by, could go up significantly, and your reaction time could probably be pretty good, but the input lag just severely weighs you down. Now, this wasn't meant to prove anything such as my reaction time. In truth, I'm actually kind of tired, so my reactions aren't the best at the moment, but at the same time, this was mostly educational, for educational purposes, and I hope you all did enjoy. So if you want to figure out how I did this in just a few words, you saw me do it live. I just record how quickly I reacted to some pretty quick attacks, and then I used an app called Smooth Action Cam Slow Mo and just recorded high FPS footage because I have a very fast refresh rate monitor. In truth, I probably could have gotten a better reaction time if I unlocked my FPS, but I locked it to 80 FPS for reasons. So, and then I did the rest in DaVinci Resolve, as you can clearly see. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and if you did, please make sure to hit that like button. If you didn't, you know what to do, and I'll see all you dudes in the next video.